So, welcome back. We're on day 2 of our 10 thoughts we started a couple days ago. If you tuned in for day 1, it was the concept of big wins versus consistent growth. If you want to go back and watch it, you're welcome to do so. If you go to jrctv.com, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. And on the YouTube channel, you'll see day 1 of 10 of the 10 thoughts of this series. Now, with it, we're on day 2. And so day 2, the concept is doubling down on your core business. This is where I see a lot of people make a mistake. The first mistake we talked about, or the first thing that they do, is everything they're after is just after a home run. So they're trying to get a huge win and a huge victory. And then if they do hit their huge victory, from that point forward, it's just kind of a slow decline. Financially or relationship-wise, the victory is if I could just get that person, if I could just date that person, then they finally do everything it takes to date the person. Now they have the person, and then slowly their relationship declines until it fades away and falls apart. If I could just make my 10 million bucks, then everything would be great. And they work. They finally make their 10 million bucks, and then slowly over time, their 10 million bucks, dwindles away. If I could just lose that weight, if I could just get to my ideal weight, and they work, and they finally get there, and then slowly over time they gain it all back. As we talked on day 1, how many of you have had that experience? The truth is, most people have. Most people have done that. And so we said, instead of doing that, why don't we adjust the concept in the consistent growth so that every day you have a partnership that gets a little bit better than the day before. Every day your bank account has a little bit more money in it than the day before. Every day your business is growing a little bit more than the day before. And it's constantly growing. It's constantly improving. It's constantly making progress. We agreed that was a good idea for day 1. Now day 2, this is where people kind of get messed up. We get excited when we start our business. And how many of you, just by raise of hands or in the comments, how many of you are business owners out there? I'd love to know, how many of you own your own business? Or you're an independent representative, meaning you own your own business. I'd love to know how many of you are a business owner or have the mindset of a business owner. You want to be a business owner at some point. So I'm seeing lots of little hands and thumbs up here. That's good. So as a business owner, oftentimes what happens is we get started and we try a bunch of stuff in the beginning because we don't know what's going to work. So we try having, let's say you're a service-based business. So we try, one service that we put out there, and people kind of like it, and we're only making so much money, and we only have so many clients. So then we try adding a new service to the table, and we get excited, and a few people take us up on that one, and then we try adding a new service. And what happens is we keep jumping and adding new services and new things to our product line. And pretty soon we have like 50 different offerings, and all of them bring in a little bit of money. And we talk about multiple streams of income, and each offering is bringing in a little bit from a different direction. But my God, we're busy. And we're busy running in circles all day long, exhausted. And for some reason, our business just keeps going like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's never really growing. Now, this next concept is something that was a game changer for my business. And I'll tell you the backstory. Can't wait to see y'all in Kentucky next week, too. I'll tell you the backstory of how this changed everything. So I started off, and my core business was one-on-one performance coaching with small business owners. So one-on-one coaching was my core business. And I scaled my business from 0 to 100,000 in top line revenue within 8 months of starting. I was 24 years old when I did that. And that was a lot of money to me back then, having $100,000 in revenue and almost income there for 24 years old was a big deal. It was exciting. And people heard that I had done this. Someone over in London, a friend of mine now, had heard about it. And he said, hey, can I hire you to come and speak at my event and tell all the other coaches how you did it? And I said, sure. So he paid for me to fly to London and get up on stage in front of like 300 other coaches and tell them how I did it. And they all got excited. I remember I went and had lunch under the Eiffel Tower. I took the train over to Paris that afternoon, had lunch at the Eiffel Tower. It was pretty cool. Then I came home and I was like, wow, okay. So I have 52 one-on-one coaching clients, which was way too many at the time just for me to handle myself, but I did it. 52 one-on-one coaching clients. I'm like, I can't reach anymore, so I must build a product. So I spent the next probably 6 months building a product, filming, editing, rehearsing, filming, editing, scripting, designing, developing, doing all this stuff. And I put together this whole product, and I spent all this time making a product, and then I finally launched my product, and I made like $4,000. And I was like, oh, I made $4,000 on a product. How cool. And then that didn't really work, so I kind of sat down and thought about it. I was like, okay, I need to do this better, found some partners. And then the next 12 months, I made about $40,000 in a product. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm up to 140. And then I was like, you know what? Years went by, I was doing okay. And then I decided I wanted to grow. So now I'm 25, 26 years old. I'm like, I'm going to do seminars. I'm going to do events. So fast forward, so many years later, I got a partner, and we decided to do 20 seminars in 1 year. So we got together and we did a tour, a world tour of my new little seminar I was going to do. We put it together, and we did it in London, Tokyo, let's see, where else? Stockholm, Toronto, New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles. We did one in Florida, all over the world. We did 20 of them in 1 year. I got to the end of the year, and we had touched thousands of people's lives. We had a lot of fun. We made a big difference all over the world. I was getting messages online of like, oh my God, you're blowing up. Congratulations. Look at you go. And I was like, I'm killing it. Business is growing. So amazing. And I sat down with an accountant at the end of the year, and he said, how do you think you did? I was like, I think we crushed it. I think we did extraordinarily well. He's like, what makes you think that? I'm like, well, look at all the people we helped. Look at all the places we went. Look at all the countries, all the seminars we did. This was great. He's like, okay. Did you look at the finances of it all? I was like, yeah, we made a ton of money. We made more money this year than we've ever made before. He's like, okay. Did you see how much was left? I was like, what do you mean? And he says, I'm just going to say this bluntly. If you would have stood home and just stared at the wall all year and done nothing, you'd be about $30,000, $40,000 richer than you are right now. I remember being like, huh? What does that mean? He said, basically, you wrote a check for $30,000 in order to go do this thing you called business all year, and you spent $30,000 doing all that. So if you would have had a normal job that paid you $30,000, you'd be $30,000 richer, $60,000 richer than you are right now. I was like, how'd that happen? And I'll tell you the secret sauce here. How that happened was because I was doubling down and focusing on things that were not my core business. I was focusing on things that were exciting. I was focusing on things that were shiny and sparkly. I was focusing on things that sounded like a big deal, that other people thought was a big deal, that I thought was a big deal. But I wasn't focusing on my core business. So we sat down, and I remember we sat down that year and we said, okay, what is our core business? Are we a seminar business? Are we a coaching business? Are we a coach training business? Are we a consulting company? Are we a product business? What are we? And we sat down and we really got clear on what business we are and what's our core business. What are we the best at? What do we really deliver phenomenal results in? And when we got clear on this, we said, okay, what if we say no to everything else? We cut everything else off the table and say we don't do that anymore. And what if we only focus on our core business, our greatest strength, and not only the thing that's our core business, but the thing that's also the most profitable part of our business? So we said, okay, this is not only the core business, but it's also the highest profit generator of our business. We put those two together. And then we said it's also, so it's our greatest strength, our highest profits generator, and probably the most important, this is where our clients get the biggest ROI in working for us, meaning for every dollar they invest, they get 2 to 10 times back return for working with us in this way. Because we measured that. We measured in certain events, we measured in certain products, we measured in certain one-on-one clients, And we said, where do they get the biggest return? Where do they get the biggest ROI for putting every penny in investing and working with us? And we said, when we combine the thing we're the best at, the thing our client gets the biggest ROI at, and the things that are highest profit center, all of a sudden, we nailed down exactly what our core business was. And when we really nailed down what our core business was, all of a sudden, that's where we doubled down. That's where we said, this is our business. This is what we're really going to be known for. This is what we're going to build our brand around. This is what we're going to constantly push into the marketplace. And this is how we're going to do it. And we built our strategic business plan around our core business. Now, as that happened, I could show you our growth curve, both in the amount of clients we have, in the amount of money we make, top line, in the amount of profit we make, and in the ROI our clients get. It's really phenomenal. And so day 2 of our 10 thoughts is identifying your core business. You can use those 3 segments. Number 1, what are you absolutely the best at? Number 2, what service or product your clients get the biggest ROI, meaning return on investment. For every dollar they put in, they get $2 in return or $10 in return in that product or service with you. And then number 3, what is your profit center? What is the highest profit generating part of your business? You wrap these 3 together, and let's call that your core business. My challenge to you would be for the next 90 days, the fourth quarter of the year here, double down on your core business and watch what happens to your revenue, watch what happens to your client satisfaction, and watch what happens to your profit in this quarter compared to all other quarters of the year. If you double down, you'll see what happened. For us, it was amazing. We've made more profit in Q1 of this year than all of last year combined. And it's pretty phenomenal as you see these things line up. So hopefully this is useful. If it is, tag someone in this, share it with them. This video will be over on YouTube shortly in a little bit here. If you want to find it on YouTube, it's jrctv.com, which is my YouTube channel. Hope you have an amazing morning, evening, afternoon. I will see you all tomorrow for day 3 of our 10 Thoughts series that we're going through here. See you later, guys.